Princess Thalia Roem Gürta, the second princess of the Roem Empire, is introduced amidst opulent surroundings. As her hair is brushed, she's complimented. "Princess Thalia, you look just like an angel." Yet, a melancholic gaze betrays her inner thoughts, contrasting with the exquisite perfumes and lavish preparations surrounding her. Amidst her morning preparations, Princess Thalia sits at her vanity. Her maid, brushing her hair, observes, "You really are the spitting image of Lady Guinevere." The maid adds that seeing Thalia all dressed up like this, it's like seeing Lady Guinevere when she was 18 all over again. Suddenly, a sharp object slips from Thalia's hand, hitting the floor. After the object fell, the maid looks visibly flustered. Princess Thalia then turns with a stern, direct gaze, abruptly telling her, "That's enough brushing. Just bring me the dress." The maid stands silently, clearly taken aback by Thalia's sudden, sharp tone, leaving the room in a tense quiet. After Thalia's sharp command, the maid returns, presenting a magnificent gown. She exclaims, "Oh, look at this," revealing it's the very dress Lady Guinevere wore when she first entered the imperial palace. Princess Thalia gazes at it with a somber expression as the maid adds, "She must have prepared it specifically for you, Princess," highlighting its poignant connection. Thalia silently considers the magnificent gown. She then asks her nanny if she truly remembers her mother's attire from so long ago. The nanny confirms, triggering a vivid flashback. We see Lady Guinevere radiating beauty in the dress. As the nanny tearfully recalls, "She was so beautiful it brought tears to my eyes." This powerful memory highlights the dress's profound significance. The vivid flashback continues, revealing Lady Guinevere's enchanting beauty, even captivating the emperor. Snapping back to the present, Princess Thalia coldly cuts off the nanny, declaring, "If you have time for idle chatter, spend it finishing my preparations." The nanny, chastised, promptly assures her, "Of course, I'll take care of everything," as Thalia remains stern. The preparations for Princess Thalia continue, as a voice warmly compliments her, declaring, "You're truly beautiful." A striking close-up of Thalia's luminous blue eye captivates us. She then stands, fully adorned in her mother's magnificent gown, inspecting her reflection in a grand mirror while her nanny makes final adjustments. Standing fully adorned, Princess Thalia internally declares she desires to be seen even more than mother, if such a thing is possible. Her thoughts intensify. "I want everyone to look at me." We glimpse onlookers and her dazzling blue eye, as a radiant Thalia reveals a mysterious new motivation for AYLA. Princess Thalia, adorned in her magnificent gown, is consumed by an inner desire. An intense, gnawing hunger drives her, as she ponders the powerful look an imperial princess should have. She then grasps a magnificent, ornate golden sword, raising it with an air of potent resolve. This symbol of authority radiates, hinting at her burgeoning power. As Princess Thalia firmly grasps the ornate golden sword, the nanny reacts with a startled eek as Thalia stands resolute. A flashback or internal thought reveals her mother captivating the emperor, but Thalia's perspective is cutting. It was nothing but a vulgar, shameful affair. Her bitter judgment of the past is clear. Princess Thalia, standing before her reflection, declares, "I'm sick of this mirror." With a powerful strike, she shatters the grand looking glass, demanding it be replace it with a new one. Her intense gaze is fragmented across the broken shards, revealing a powerful desire for change and a clear break from the past. The shattered mirror reflects Princess Thalia's fragmented image. Amidst a sky cracking with a powerful declaration, "Not as long as I exist," the story transitions. We then find Princess Thalia, stunning in her gown, as a young nobleman approaches, complimenting her. "You look truly beautiful, Your Highness. This marks her grand entrance. Princess Thalia, accompanied by the young nobleman, prepares for a grand departure in a carriage, escorted by guards. Looking stern, Thalia sharply commands, "Stop with the nonsense and just go." The nobleman is visibly taken aback by her blunt words. The carriage door then closes, carrying Thalia away into the evening. Inside the moving carriage, Princess Thalia sits, appearing calm and contemplative in her elaborate gown. A jolt from the carriage breaks her thoughts. Meanwhile, a grand palace hall buzzes with activity. Nobles gather, chatting and holding drinks, clearly anticipating a significant event. The stage is now set for Princess Thalia's grand arrival. Inside the moving carriage, Princess Thalia's thoughts take a dark turn. She chillingly wishes, if only tonight's banquet could be stained in those colors. As the carriage jolts closer to the grand palace, she gazes intently out the window, biting her finger with an intense, determined expression. Her powerful resolve is clear as her grand arrival approaches. As Princess Thalia's grand arrival looms, she harbors a dark wish, thinking, "I wish a huge scene would break out and ruin everything." The anticipation crescendos as a voice grandly proclaims, announcing the entrance of the second princess of the Roem Empire, Thalia Roem Gürta. The moment of her official debut is finally here. The grand hall buzzes with murmurs as Princess Thalia's presence is keenly felt. Close up on her elegant, pearl-adorned shoes, drawing whispers from the crowd. Finally, Princess Thalia is fully revealed, descending a grand staircase, radiant in a magnificent red and white gown. All eyes are on her. Princess Thalia stands before the assembled nobles, feeling an oppressive silence. She thinks, "It's like I'm the plague itself," as her presence casts a strange pall over the grand hall. Soon, a noble steps forward, directly challenging Thalia by asking, "What brings you here?" Her grand debut is met with immediate tension. Princess Thalia, facing the noble's direct challenge, observes him intently. She silently questions, "Is he just another one of Isla's mindless followers?" This realization, perhaps a new suspicion about her sister, sparks a subtle, enigmatic smile across Thalia's lips, hinting at her true intentions. The noble who challenged Princess Thalia is visibly startled by her subtle smile. Thalia, radiant and confident, maintains her enigmatic expression, causing him to blush and wonder, "Am I somewhere I'm not supposed to be?" She then pointedly asks him, "Is there a problem with me being here?" directly confronting his discomfort. In the grand hall, Princess Thalia's direct question leaves the noble visibly trembling and blushing intensely. She holds his gaze for a moment, then a close-up reveals her intense focus. Stepping away with a dismissive humph, Thalia confidently turns her back on him, leaving him stunned. Meanwhile, a prominent balcony above remains empty, hinting at observers or future events. In the grand hall, Princess Thalia stands amidst the banquet, observing. An unseen voice notes, "She's not here yet, possibly awaiting Isla." High above, two figures watch from a secluded balcony. This transitions to a grim, abstract visual, hinting at Thalia's dark intentions. From the grand hall, Princess Thalia's thoughts drift to a distressing vision of someone crying in the rain. She then imagines Isla, perhaps recalling a past humiliation involving an emetic that left her suffering. Thalia internally muses, "I might not even see Thalia Roem Gürta today," despite Isla appearing confident. Her dark desire intensifies as she wishes, "I wish I could have really made it happen," revealing her true intentions. Inside Princess Thalia's mind, a dark vision unfolds as she holds a goblet. Her thoughts are consumed by disturbing, glitching images of a figure in distress. An ominous voice declares, "Die," intensifying into a chilling command. "Just die already, Ayla." Her hatred for Isla is truly profound. Thalia's dark thoughts continue, wishing for Isla to please never wake up again. Then, at the lively banquet, a charming nobleman approaches Thalia. He offers warm compliments, saying, "You grow more beautiful with every passing season." We learn his name is Count Syrian, introducing a new presence at the event. At the grand banquet, Count Syrian continues to engage Princess Thalia. He gallantly kisses her hand, revealing, "Her Majesty is always worried about you, Princess." Syrian adds that he couldn't help himself even without a request, then urges Thalia to just look around you. His words, and Thalia's intense gaze, hint at deeper implications at the event. At the grand banquet, Princess Thalia remains the undeniable focus. Count Syrian emphasizes her captivating presence, observing, "Every man in this room is staring at you." He then shares a surprising personal detail, confessing, "I've been in his disfavor for a long time now." The lively hall hints at deeper political undercurrents at play. Princess Thalia confronts Count Syrian, directly asking if her mother sent him to save her poor daughter from being an outcast. With a composed expression, Thalia listens as Syrian responds, revealing Her Majesty ordered him to ensure she enjoys the banquet fully. He adds she specifically told him to make Thalia shine brighter than anyone else here, hinting at the Queen's true intentions. In the grand hall, Count Syrian patiently extends his hand to Princess Thalia. She remains silent for a moment, her mind racing with the thought, "Everyone here probably wants me to just disappear." Despite this, Thalia decisively reaches out, her hand meeting his. Her acceptance sets the stage for her next move at the banquet. At the grand banquet, a brilliant light suddenly envelopes Princess Thalia and Count Syrian, drawing an astonished "WHOA" from the mesmerized crowd. Thalia stands radiant, her captivating presence now seizing the entire hall's attention. She and Syrian are presented together, fulfilling the Queen's command to outshine everyone. Princess Thalia begins her dance with Count Syrian. As they move gracefully across the floor, Thalia observes him intently, thinking, "This man." She's clearly impressed, mentally noting, "He's incredibly skilled." The surrounding nobles watch, completely captivated, as Thalia shines, commanding the banquet's full attention. Princess Thalia continues to gracefully dance with Count Syrian, a subtle, knowing smile gracing her lips. But their moment is interrupted. A grand announcement declares, announcing the arrival of His Imperial Highness, Crown Prince Gareth, and Her Imperial Highness, First Princess Ayla. The royal pair immediately takes to the dance floor, drawing all eyes. Count Syrian laments the interruption to their dance, saying, "What a shame to have our fun interrupted." Crown Prince Gareth and First Princess Ayla then appear, looking regal in matching white and green. Thalia's face shows an intense, focused expression as the twins, explicitly identified as Ayla and her brother Gareth, stand poised, ready to command the spotlight. As Crown Prince Gareth and First Princess Ayla make their grand entrance, they are immediately surrounded by nobles, receiving greetings and congratulations. Ayla, in her striking red gown, appears somewhat pensive or uneasy as her brother, Gareth, leans in to speak to her. The crowd murmurs as the royal twins move through the banquet hall, clearly commanding everyone's attention. Princess Thalia's gaze sharpens at the banquet. A jarring vision of sinister faces flashes, immediately juxtaposed by the radiant, angelic figures of Crown Prince Gareth and First Princess Ayla. Thalia's inner thoughts recoil. "Don't compare me to them." As dark, serpent-like imagery hints at her deep disdain for the royal pair. Count Syrian, observing the royal twins, remarks to Princess Thalia that they seem to be ignoring her. He then challenges, "What would you like to do? Shall we go and greet them first?" He presses further, asking if this isn't her very purpose for attending. Thalia's intense, resolute expression suggests she's ready for what comes next. From Thalia's deep thoughts, A hand firmly grips a goblet, hinting at her dark intentions. Then, a piercing blue eye pauses, shifting focus to Crown Prince Gareth. He appears stern, observing the grand banquet hall from the top of a magnificent staircase, his authoritative presence now clear. Crown Prince Gareth stands at the top of the grand staircase, maintaining his stern gaze. Suddenly, Vargas Redgosikin, the imposing commander-in-chief of the Imperial Guard, makes his entrance. He descends the steps, his powerful presence drawing the nobles' full attention as he joins Gareth, solidifying their commanding position in the hall. Princess Thalia confidently takes action, formally stating, "I greet the Crown Prince." We then see glimpses of Gareth and Vargas Redgosikin before the royal trio, Gareth, Isla, and Vargas, are shown together at the top of the grand staircase, deep in conversation. Thalia's direct address marks her first move to engage the Crown Prince. At the top of the grand staircase, Vargas gestures while conversing with Gareth, as Isla now smiles sweetly, holding hands with her brother. Suddenly, Thalia's thoughts turn dark, a goblet image glitching and cracking with an ominous sound. This starkly contrasts the royal siblings' innocent image, revealing Thalia's deeply warped and distorted perception of them. Thalia's dark thoughts intensify at the banquet. An internal outburst warns, "I said don't touch Vargas." Count Syrian appears shaken as Thalia holds her goblet, and she questions, "Wouldn't it be better to just leave the banquet hall now?" But with a resolute "no," Thalia firmly steps forward, determined to stay. Princess Thalia firmly resolves, declaring, "I didn't come here to make such a pathetic exit." Below, nobles watch intently as Crown Prince Gareth, First Princess Isla, and a young man are joined by a regal blonde woman in a vibrant red gown, revealed to be the queen. She stands holding a goblet, surrounded by the royal siblings, now commanding the hall's attention. Princess Thalia makes her move, directly greeting Crown Prince Gareth. She then pointedly addresses her lovely sister, Isla, remarking, "I'm glad to see you've recovered your health." Thalia further adds, "You weren't looking very well the last time we met," stunning Isla and the royal family into silence, creating a palpable tension. Following Thalia's pointed remark, Isla calmly responds, "Thank you for your concern," maintaining a sweet, composed smile. The queen observes serenely as Isla appears unfazed. This lack of visible reaction deeply frustrates Thalia, who internally seethes. "It's as if I'm not even worth her anger." Isla's composure clearly fuels Thalia's dark intentions. Thalia's frustration boils over. She bitterly thinks, "Like I'm something utterly worthless," then intensely wishes she had given Isla lethal poison, not just an emetic. Thalia envisions facing a horrific execution, as a chilling vision of a figure collapsing amidst blood appears. Her violent desires are pushing her to extreme lengths. Thalia's violent thoughts consume her, wishing she had ended her life. Meanwhile, Crown Prince Gareth glares furiously. He internally condemns Thalia's vulgar outfit, his contempt evident. Now, Gareth stands face to face with Thalia, his disapproval clear for all to see, as she holds her goblet. Princess Thalia directly confronts Crown Prince Gareth's disapproval, coolly asking, "Vulgar? You're being quite harsh." She then emphasizes her dress is very meaningful, suggesting their father's deep affection for it. Gareth is visibly distressed by her taunts, struggling to respond. Finally, he offers a strained, sarcastic "I see. It really does suit you," as Thalia maintains her composure. The tension lingers as Crown Prince Gareth concludes his exchange with Thalia, telling her, "Anyway, thank you for coming." First Princess Isla then confidently adds that today is a very meaningful day for us. Especially for me. Thalia remains silent amidst the observing nobles, her intense blue eye revealing a complex internal reaction to Isla's bold declaration. At the grand banquet, First Princess Isla and Crown Prince Gareth make a significant announcement. Their official wedding date has finally been set. Isla adds that she must first embark on a pilgrimage to receive the saint's blessing. Meanwhile, the queen bids a somber farewell to Gareth and Isla, explaining she's leaving the palace for good. This dramatic departure marks a significant shift for the royal family. Thalia's mind replays a memory or imagines Isla sweetly declaring, "I truly want to bless your future, sister." Crown Prince Gareth reacts with a clear look of shock. Yet, this pleasant image is violently disrupted by Thalia's own dark thoughts, as Isla's elegant attire becomes stained with ominous blood splatters. Thalia's dark thoughts persist. She vividly imagines Isla collapsing, bloodied, as an ominous queen-like figure smirks. The chilling internal declaration echoes, "I'll pray every day that you end up just like this soon, sister." This hateful fantasy culminates with a powerful grip of two hands, hinting at a turning point. The tension between Thalia and Gareth explodes as the crown prince raises a hand, causing Thalia to cry out and recoil. With a stern gaze, Gareth declares, "You really never seem to learn that there's a line you shouldn't cross." He then firmly grips something, his anger palpable, leaving the situation intensely charged. Gareth's anger erupts, firmly gripping Thalia's hand as she cries out in distress. He confronts her, demanding, "Just how low do you intend to sink before you're satisfied?" He continues, "Is hitting rock bottom still not enough for you?" Thalia, clearly pained, endures his harsh words, her expression reflecting deep anguish. Gareth continues to grip Thalia, who defiantly asks, "You think I've hit rock bottom?" Their faces draw intimately close in a charged moment, as Thalia secretly clutches a small weapon. Gareth then firmly clamps his hand over hers, his powerful grip silencing her hidden intent. This intense struggle reveals a dangerous game. Gareth, still gripping Thalia, sarcastically remarks, "I must look so beneath you from where you're standing." But Thalia, with a subtle smile, defiantly thinks, "I'm still far from reaching the absolute worst." Her intense blue eye then glitches, revealing a chaotic inner world of dark, abstract visions, hinting at her dangerous potential. Princess Thalia, burning with rage, vows to leave a few scratch marks on his future before she falls. Gareth's tension is palpable, a clenching sound underscoring her dark resolve to inflict damage. Then, a hand reaches out, and the name Barkis is called, signaling a new, crucial interaction. After the intense confrontation, the scene abruptly shifts. A distressed young woman with dark hair and green eyes expresses her desire to change clothes, stating, I'd like to change my clothes." She then pleads, "Could you take me out of here?" The man named Barkis appears to be with her, offering comfort amidst the banquet's commotion, hinting at a new developing situation. After the young woman asks to leave, Barkis gently takes her hand, softly agreeing, "As you wish." But the focus abruptly shifts to Princess Thalia, whose hand grips her goblet with crushing intensity. Her wide, distressed eyes reveal a profound inner turmoil, hinting at the depth of her pain. After the tense exchange, Thalia defiantly lets out a HMPH. Count Syrian, clearly concerned, urges her, "I believe it would be best to leave the banquet hall immediately." But Thalia questions him, declaring she haven't had enough fun yet, despite Isla's earlier words. Syrian can only look on, troubled by her resolve. From the grand banquet hall, an unknown man observes Princess Thalia, haunted by the thought, "A beast is glaring down at you from above." His face then contorts in sheer terror, reflecting a profound fear of her. Abstract symbols of broken hearts and skulls underscore the ominous atmosphere, leaving us to wonder about this new, terrified observer. Outside the grand palace, a royal carriage awaits at night. Figures, including a woman in red, prepare to depart. A foot in an ornate shoe steps onto the carriage, drawing murmurs from onlookers. This triggers a powerful, glitching internal vision for Princess Thalia, hinting at her continued dark thoughts amidst the royal farewells. Princess Thalia suddenly collapses, falling heavily onto a luxurious bed, appearing unconscious or in distress. Her eyes flutter open, revealing her blue gaze as she looks up. Crown Prince Gareth stands over her, his expression stern, as Thalia weakly asks, what? The tense confrontation continues in this new, vulnerable setting. As Princess Thalia lies on the bed, a voice questions Crown Prince Gareth's actions. He glares with furious yellow eyes, while a distressed Thalia reacts with a gasp. Gareth's hand is then seen gripping her bedclothes, as he reveals a tense, partial thought. We've been. Their confrontation has taken a startling new turn. Gareth's intense confrontation with Princess Thalia continues in her chambers. His anger boils over as he coldly declares he's barely tolerating your existence. A furious grip underscores his words, adding, and for a very long time, too. He pins her down on the bed, his oppressive presence highlighting her vulnerability. In Thalia's chambers, Gareth continues his furious confrontation, declaring he's been enduring again. Thalia cries out in distress, struggling as Gareth's hand grips her, leaving marks. He leans in menacingly, warning her not to provoke them further, because we already hate you more than enough. The intense confrontation in Thalia's chambers culminates with a symbolic struggle of hands. Thalia is then seen violently coughing on the bed. Suddenly, Gareth's hand is revealed, covered in blood and scratches, as shocked onlookers gasp. Gareth issues a chilling warning. Keep this in mind, before departing, leaving the situation tense. Inside a royal carriage, Crown Prince Gareth's anger continues as he gazes out the window, consumed by thoughts of your mother's reckless behavior. The scene shifts to abstract visuals, emphasizing a sudden jolt or movement. Immediately, a concerned voice from outside the carriage urgently asks, "Your Highness, are you all right?" hinting at an unexpected event. Outside, a mysterious man subtly laughs. Meanwhile, Thalia's hands, with their vivid red nails, reflect her defiant itch. She lies on her bed, now awake, her expression composed. A closer look reveals her broken nails and a faint mark on her cheek as she confidently declares, "I'll have T.O. grow them again," showcasing her unbroken spirit despite the recent struggle. In her chambers, Princess Thalia, despite her scratched hands, defiantly declares she'll sharpen her resolve even more, ready to sink them right into their bones. Her intense blue eye gleams with chilling purpose. A small bird is then seen, first looking up, before falling still and lifeless, a grim metaphor for Thalia's dark ambitions. A memory unfolds, showing a child in the rain, with a voice recalling, "Back then, it was a mess just like this." A triumphant declaration follows. "Finally, my daughter's name will be added to the imperial genealogy." We then see a woman, likely Guinevere, showing a young girl her new home, saying, "Look, this is your palace now." This reveals the complex beginnings of Thalia's imperial journey. In a tender memory, Guinevere warmly tells Thalia to be happy. Yet, young Thalia is seen observing a group of whispering children with wide, anxious blue eyes. She appears overwhelmed, perhaps by the weight of expectations, as a blush creeps onto her cheeks. This glimpse into her past reveals early struggles within the palace. A cold, blue statue appears, an ominous start to a memory. An empty palace corridor then echoes with a voice crying, "I'm scared." Maids walk somberly, as the voice intensifies, "I'm so scared." Finally, young Thalia is seen running, exclaiming, "I'm terrified." This vivid flashback deepens her childhood anxieties. The flashback to Princess Thalia's childhood continues, revealing a somber, rainy day. A small, lifeless bird lies still in the mud. Young Thalia then appears, looking forlorn in her elaborate dress, her wide blue eyes reflecting sadness. Her foot gently steps into a puddle, the soft squish sound emphasizing her quiet distress in this cold, wet world. The childhood flashback continues, showing young Princess Thalia amidst a castle garden where every flower and tree is being uprooted. Her wide blue eyes reflect deep distress as she navigates the muddy, rainy chaos. Suddenly, with a splash, Thalia loses her footing and falls into the puddle, crying out, "H." This vulnerable moment emphasizes the harshness of her early life. Still in her childhood flashback, young Princess Thalia is distressed after falling in the mud, exclaiming, "Oh no, I'm a mess now." She then stands, observing a still, dark bird on the ground, as a somber chirp chirp echoes. Her wide blue eyes, now adorned with a small flower, reflect a quiet, contemplative resilience, hinting at her journey. In her childhood memory, Princess Thalia stands silently over a fallen bird. She quietly asks, "Is it dead already?" before gently reaching out to touch a dark feather on the muddy ground. With a somber expression, her eyes reflect a deep contemplation of life and loss, hinting at a pivotal moment in her past. In a poignant moment from her past, young Princess Thalia discovers the fallen bird is, against all odds, still alive. With a soft flutter, she gently cradles the tiny creature in her cupped hands. Her wide, innocent blue eyes focus intently on the fragile bird, offering it comfort and shelter. This tender act reveals a surprising glimpse into her childhood empathy. Continuing the childhood memory, we see young Princess Thalia's wide, empathetic eyes. Over a luminous background, text describes the fragile bird's plight, having lost its home, and tragically, and abandoned by its mother. Thalia cradles the small creature, reflecting on its vulnerable state and the profound sadness of its situation. A gentle voice asks young Princess Thalia, "Are you cold?" as she carefully cradles the small bird. With a soft sound, she closes her eyes, standing in the falling rain, tenderly holding her hands to her chest. She's protecting the tiny creature, showing a profound empathy in this harsh weather. Young Princess Thalia stands in the rain, burdened by her fragile charge. She questions, "What should I do?" as the muddy ground beneath her feels unstable, even grumbling. Tears well in her eyes, her hands pressed together in distress. This moment emphasizes her deep vulnerability and uncertainty in this harsh childhood memory. Amidst the rainy flashback, a voice suddenly breaks the silence, asking young Princess Thalia, "What are you doing down there?" Soaked in distress, Thalia looks up with wide, tearful blue eyes. Her hands remain clasped as raindrops mix with her tears, revealing her profound sadness and vulnerability in this harsh moment. In this rainy flashback, a mysterious hooded figure stands by a tree. With intense blue eyes and blonde hair, this person looks intently at young Princess Thalia. Thalia, tearful and distressed, gazes back at them. The figure then turns, fully observing the vulnerable young princess in the rain. This pivotal encounter reveals who first approached her during that difficult moment. In this childhood memory, young Princess Thalia trembles visibly, her hands clasped tightly. The mysterious hooded figure stands above her in the rain, their intense blue eyes now clearly visible. The figure finally speaks, asking, "Can't you tell? I fell in this pit, and I can't get out." Their words highlight Thalia's desperate situation to her enigmatic observer. The hooded figure, previously speaking to young Princess Thalia, now appears distressed, a tear tracing their cheek as they question, "Why did you even go in there in the first place?" With distinct splashing sounds, they turn and walk away, leaving a tearful young Thalia behind in the pouring rain. This sudden departure leaves Thalia alone and vulnerable in her childhood memory. The mysterious hooded figure, who had just walked away, now offers a helping hand to young Princess Thalia. With a tear on their cheek, the figure extends their hand, saying, "Take my hand." Young Thalia, clutching her pearl necklace with a T pendant, looks up with wide, innocent blue eyes, seemingly surprised by this unexpected gesture. This pivotal moment presents a choice for the vulnerable princess. Young Princess Thalia, still soaked and tearful, faces the hooded figure's outstretched hand. Hesitantly, she confesses, "I'm holding something in my hands right now," though she claims it's not important. When the figure urges her to throw it away, Thalia firmly replies she can't just throw it away. Her empathy shines through, even in her vulnerable state. The mysterious hooded figure, with striking white hair, intently observes young Princess Thalia. Suddenly, Thalia lets out a distressed "Kaya" as the figure swiftly picks her up, cradling the surprised princess in their arms. Her wide blue eyes and flushed cheeks reveal her shock at being carried. What will happen next in this unexpected encounter? The hooded figure firmly holds young Princess Thalia's face, commanding her to stay still. Startled, Thalia finds herself sitting in their lap, gazing up at them in the rain. She clutches her hands, still holding something precious. A splash in the mud signifies a step, continuing their intense encounter. The hooded figure continues carrying young Princess Thalia through the rain. Looking annoyed, the figure declares, "This is the worst." Despite her muddy state, Thalia offers to pay back her rescuer, promising, "I can buy you something much more expensive than what you're wearing." Still in the rain, young Princess Thalia proclaims, "The truth is, I'm the daughter of a very, very great person." The hooded figure, unimpressed, retorts, "You're quite impudent for such a little thing." Thalia blushes, thinking, How dare you?" To the emperor's daughter. Her flushed face shows her shock at being dismissed. The mysterious hooded figure continues to walk away from young Princess Thalia through the rainy garden, their muddy boots stepping firmly. But then, they pause, turning back towards the tearful princess. The figure observes Thalia, still carefully cradling something in her hands, and directly asks her, "What are you holding?" Young Princess Thalia gently cradles the fragile, dark bird in her hands. The mysterious hooded figure notices it, looking down intently. They question, "Of bird?" as Thalia explains its condition, stating, "It fell into the mud. It used to be." The figure's curiosity about the little creature seems to grow. Continuing the childhood memory, the hooded figure gently cradles young Princess Thalia, who looks up at them. A quiet thought suggests hands could be much prettier than this. The figure then gently squeezes Thalia's hand, observing her intently. Finally, the figure remarks, "Your fingers are like ice," revealing concern for the young princess. Young Princess Thalia is still sitting in the hooded figure's lap in the rain. The figure questions her, asking, "How long were you standing there?" After a silent moment, the figure gazes intently at Thalia's wide blue eyes, making a profound observation. "There's a silver crown in your eyes." Young Thalia looks on, surprised by this mysterious remark. The mysterious hooded figure turns their gaze directly, revealing intense blue eyes and a solemn expression in the rain. A tear or raindrop traces their cheek as they fall silent, lost in thought after their profound words to young Princess Thalia. The rainy garden around them underscores the somber mood, leaving us to wonder about their next move. The rainy garden flashback continues with a silent intensity. We glimpse the mysterious hooded figure's striking blue eyes, reflecting the sky. They stand contemplating as young Princess Thalia gazes up, tear-streaked. Then, the figure's own distressed eyes, mirroring the vast sky, reveal their deep emotional state. This shared, intense gaze deepens their unspoken connection. Young Princess Thalia quietly ponders, "In my eyes," reflecting on the mysterious figure's words. After a moment, a bright flash and a sudden, urgent cry of "Young lady" rings out. This leads to the figure carrying a surprised Thalia in their arms through the rain, as their intense encounter continues. In the rainy garden, young Princess Thalia's nanny appears, urgently calling out. As the nanny cries, "Young lady," Thalia remains silent, still being held by the mysterious figure. The figure then firmly declares, "Have to go now," with a serious gaze, making their departure imminent from the searching nanny. Still in the rainy garden flashback, a hand gently adjusts young Princess Thalia's pearl necklace with a soft rustle. Raindrops continuously drip from green leaves. We then see a close-up of young Thalia, wearing that same necklace, her expression thoughtful as the rain continues to fall around her. This moment highlights the figure's quiet care for the princess. As the nanny's call echoes, the mysterious hooded figure falls silent, a soft grunt escaping them. Their intense blue eyes reflect a pensive, almost pained expression amidst the rain. Their hands gently cradle the small, dark bird, which lets out a tiny chirp. This moment reveals the figure's deep emotional state and their continued tender care for the fragile creature. Continuing the flashback, the mysterious figure and young Princess Thalia share a tender moment. Their hands gently touch before the figure kneels to her level. With a protective embrace, the figure comforts a tearful Thalia, holding her close. They then walk away together, forging a new bond. In the rainy garden, young Princess Thalia shivers, thinking it's cold. As the mysterious hooded figure stands by her, they offer a comforting here. As Thalia's cupped hands reveal the small bird she's been protecting, now visibly bloodied. This tender yet tragic moment deepens their unspoken connection. Still shivering in the rain, young Princess Thalia explains to the hooded figure, "Because my hands are too cold, but yours are warm." The mysterious figure gently takes her hands, their warmth a stark contrast. They stand together, holding hands, as the white-haired figure offers comfort to the tearful princess. In the rainy garden, the mysterious figure continues to comfort young Princess Thalia. They gently cup Thalia's hands, still protecting the small bird. We get a clearer look at the figure's serene, white-haired face and striking blue eyes. As young Thalia gazes up at them, her own face smudged. This tender interaction deepens their unexpected connection amidst the storm. Still in the rainy garden, the white-haired figure expresses deep concern for the bird. They gently ask Princess Thalia, "Will that bird be okay?" Thalia looks up, her face etched with worry. The figure then offers a reassuring yes, their serene, kind expression now fully revealed as they tenderly hold their hands. This tender exchange offers a hopeful moment for the young princess. In the rainy garden, the white-haired figure reassures Thalia about the bird, saying, "It'll live." The figure then lifts the still shivering Thalia, and they walk away together. As they depart, a voice calls out for Princess Thalia, creating a sense of urgency. In the rainy garden, the white-haired figure assures Thalia the bird will live. As they walk away, a voice calls for Princess Thalia, creating immediate tension. Suddenly, young Thalia's eyes flutter open, revealing a look of surprise and a hint of a blush as she's carried. In the tranquil gardens, a figure in a dark robe with a cross necklace contemplates. Meanwhile, young Thalia, her blue eyes wide, looks on with a mixture of surprise and dawning realization. The mysterious figure, their gaze intense, seems to be observing her, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. In the tranquil gardens, a figure in a dark robe with a cross necklace contemplates. Meanwhile, young Thalia, her blue eyes wide, looks on with a mixture of surprise and dawning realization. The mysterious figure, their gaze intense, seems to be observing her, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Back in the tranquil gardens, young Thalia is found by her distraught nanny. "Where on earth have you been?" the nanny cries, grabbing Thalia's arm. "Do you have any idea how long Sinevere has been looking for you, young lady?" the nanny exclaims, aghast. "Just look at the state of you. You're supposed to see His Majesty soon. How could you get your clothes so filthy?" Back in the rainy garden, a nanny scolds a young Thalia for being out in this weather, asking, "Do you have any idea how long Sinevere has been looking for you?" Thalia, however, claims she only fell while taking a walk. The nanny exclaims, "Just look at the state of you." Back in her chambers, Thalia's eyes flutter open, revealing her resolve despite her ordeal. Meanwhile, workers are busy moving large chests into the grand palace. A voice calls out, "Here," followed by, "No, over here," as they maneuver the cargo. Finally, a stern command is given, "Hold it steady." What are they bringing in? A regal woman gazes out, her expression troubled as the palace is in an uproar. Later, a grand procession of carriages and riders moves across a map. The text announces, "In a few days, the first princess and the crown prince will depart for their pilgrimage." A mysterious hooded figure, revealed as Vargas, the commander of the Imperial Guard, stands pensively. Meanwhile, a group of workers are seen moving large, heavy chests into the palace, with one shouting, "Hold it steady." This suggests something significant is arriving, while Vargas appears lost in thought, hinting at his own internal struggles. Princess Thalia, now alone, gazes out a window, her expression pensive. Meanwhile, a mysterious figure with striking blue eyes, revealed as Vargas, the commander of the Imperial Guard, is lost in his own troubled thoughts amidst the palace's grand architecture and the falling rain. What weighs so heavily on their minds? Princess Thalia gazes wistfully, lost in thought. Later, she sits by a grand window, her expression somber. A memory surfaces of a hooded figure, stating, "But I never saw that boy again." Finally, we see Thalia in bed, shivering and whispering, "It's cold." Back in the palace, a flash of light shows Princess Thalia and the mysterious figure's hands clasped. Then, a stern-faced older gentleman watches as a young woman in a red dress walks away. Suddenly, a loud crack sound rings out, shattering the peaceful scene and hinting at impending danger. In the palace, young Thalia looks wistfully out a window. Later, she's seen in her chambers, a somber memory of a hooded figure's departure surfacing. Suddenly, a loud crack echoes, and a regal woman watches troubled as workers move large chests. A young man's worried face appears, his brow beaded with sweat. In the palace training grounds, young Thalia observes knights practicing. An older gentleman points out a specific trainee, asking, "That person, do you know who he is?" The reply comes, "They are trainee knights practicing to join the Imperial Guard. They all come from prestigious noble families." Thalia then whispers, "The one over there." We're back in the palace halls, where a young woman in a red dress is being told, "His Majesty is waiting. We should hurry." Meanwhile, Princess Thalia reflects bitterly, "My father, the Emperor, has no interest in me." A solemn mood hangs in the air as preparations continue, hinting at an important meeting. In Princess Thalia's chambers, her deep-seated hatred for the Emperor surfaces, declaring, "I hate him too, for taking my mother away." We then see a tender memory of her parents, followed by a young Thalia in a grand study, hinting at the early roots of her complex emotions and her place within the imperial family. In his study, the Emperor informs Thalia that excellent tutors have been secured for her. He then instructs her to attend lessons at the main palace before noon, urging her to do her best. Meanwhile, a young Thalia walks down a grand palace hallway, a stark contrast to her father's formal pronouncements, hinting at her isolated upbringing. Inside the palace, young Thalia peers through a grand window, her gaze thoughtful. Outside, a bustling scene unfolds with people moving about. Then, a young Thalia, dressed in a striking red gown, looks out of a large ornate window. Her expression is one of quiet contemplation as she observes the world outside. Palace grounds bathed in morning light. Princess Thalia wonders if a certain person will be there tomorrow, clutching a large book. Later, she walks the halls, a small figure in her elaborate gown. Peeking through a window, She observes something with wide, curious eyes. Princess Thalia, looking surprised, watches knights spar in the training grounds. She clutches a book, her mind seemingly elsewhere. Suddenly, a sword clatters to the ground with a sharp AGH as the sounds of combat fill the air. At the training grounds, a knight spars with another, who falls to the ground. The victorious knight offers a hand, but then strikes the fallen trainee. Meanwhile, Princess Thalia, in her chambers, notices a single, ornate shoe, a stark contrast to the chaotic sparring outside. This scene shifts focus to the harsh realities of training and Thalia's own isolated observations. In the palace training grounds, a young Thalia watches knights spar. One trainee is brutally struck down, but the victor offers a hand before attacking again. Meanwhile, Thalia, holding a book, notices a single ornate shoe in her chambers, a stark contrast to the harsh combat outside. In the training grounds, knights clash, but one falls and is struck again. Meanwhile, young Thalia peeks from a window, her gaze fixed on the scene. Later, a flashback questions, "Tell me, what happened to that bird?" As a knight cries, his face streaked with tears. The rain continues to fall on a small, injured bird. Then, a disembodied voice asks if it got better and flew away. A young Thalia, her eyes glistening with tears, looks up from beneath a hood. Finally, a memory shows a young Thalia gazing up at her mother, Guinevere, in a lavish room. Princess Thalia, adorned in a magnificent gown, is presented in all her regal splendor. A close-up reveals her striking blue eyes and a subtle, almost challenging smile. She seems to be observing something with a quiet intensity, her presence commanding the opulent surroundings. In the grand palace halls, young Thalia observes knights practicing, her eyes wide with curiosity. Later, a regal woman asks Thalia a startling question. "Do you want that child?" The shock on Thalia's face is palpable. Suddenly, the imposing figure of Grand Duke Sirkin is announced, his presence filling the ornate hall. Back in the palace, Thalia's eyes reveal a complex mix of surprise and realization. A regal woman gazes out, troubled, asking Thalia if she wants a certain boy. The imposing Grand Duke Sirkin is then announced, his presence commanding the ornate hall. Back in her chambers, a young Thalia's eyes flutter open, her resolve firm after her ordeal. Meanwhile, workers are busy moving large chests into the palace, their efforts coordinated with shouts of "Hold it steady." A regal woman watches with a troubled expression as a grand procession of carriages moves across a map, announcing the upcoming departure of the first princess and crown prince for their pilgrimage. A tender moment, possibly a memory, shows a close-up of Thalia's face as someone leans in. Then, a stark, abstract image of deep blue and white. Following this, a close-up of Thalia's hand and elaborate dress appears. Finally, two knights spar intensely in a courtyard. What's happening between Thalia and this mysterious figure? Amidst blooming roses, a chilling offer is made. "I could give him to you as a gift." Later, Princess Thalia is seen with a thoughtful, perhaps calculating, expression. Then, a regal woman, Guinevere, speaks to a young Thalia, stating, "But it won't be for free." Guinevere then holds young Thalia close, a silent pact being formed. In a quiet room, a book and tablet sit on a table. Suddenly, Princess Thalia's eyes widen in surprise, a blush spreading across her cheeks as she reaches for the tablet. The sound of "wake" echoes as her hand makes contact, hinting at a new discovery or realization. Princess Thalia makes a swift exit, her steps quick and determined. She then encounters a regal woman, who seems to be offering something precious to Thalia. The woman, Guinevere, speaking of a pact, states, "But it won't be for free," holding young Thalia close. Young Thalia runs through the palace, book in hand, questioning her own flight. She recalls wanting to throw a tantrum when her mother didn't come for her. Now, facing Guinevere, Thalia feels judged, her worth being measured, which she finds terrifying. A poignant memory surfaces for Princess Thalia, recalling her mother's embrace and the comfort it brought. But that security is gone. Her mother is now the empress, leaving Thalia to face the world alone. The scene shifts to a regal couple, royalty bathed in light, hinting at a past of power and perhaps a lost happiness. A flashback shows a young Thalia feeling like a stranger among strange people in a strange place. Later, she's asleep in a luxurious bed, seemingly exhausted. The grandeur of her surroundings contrasts with a sense of isolation, hinting at her inner turmoil. Amidst the dark night sky, a single, faint light appears. This transitions to a close-up of a hooded figure, face obscured by rain, with an intense, unseen gaze. Suddenly, the image distorts into a cascade of abstract lines, hinting at a profound emotional shift or a violent disruption. Sunlight streams through grand palace windows, illuminating Princess Thalia's chambers. Later, she lies in bed, a small, solitary figure. A maid begins to scrub Thalia's leg with a brush, the rhythmic bok-bok sound filling the quiet. This marks a return to her daily preparations. Young Thalia is bathed by maids, then seated for her hair to be brushed. She looks incredibly sad, her eyes welling up as her hair is combed, contrasting with the seemingly normal preparations. In the palace gardens, a determined voice declares, "Let's find that boy." Meanwhile, Princess Thalia wanders the halls, lost in thought. The maids wonder, where did she go? But a wiser voice reassures them. She'll come back on her own. Thalia seems to be searching for someone, her motives still unclear. In the palace gardens, Princess Thalia, still clad in her elaborate gown, takes a solitary stroll. A sudden flash reveals a memory of a hooded figure. Then, she peeks from behind a tree, her expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension, as if hiding from something. Princess Thalia, as a child, is shown in a beautiful dress, looking uneasy. Suddenly, a sharp sound rings out. Later, she's seen looking distressed, her legs hurting as she walks in the grass, lamenting, "My legs hurt." In the quiet of her chambers, Princess Thalia's thoughts drift to a past encounter. What if I never get to see him? She wonders, a blush coloring her cheeks. Later, a somber voice recalls, "We only met that one time." The weight of this brief connection lingers. Young Princess Thalia, adorned in a floral wreath, looks up with a defiant "No." Later, a stark voice cuts through the silence, declaring, "That's not it." This suggests Thalia is rejecting something, and perhaps a deeper truth is being revealed. Young Princess Thalia looks distressed in the rain. A hooded figure appears, and we hear, "He could have easily ignored a girl stuck in a pit." He then climbs into the mud to pull her out, showing he didn't just walk by. This kindness deeply impacts Thalia. The mysterious hooded figure gently holds young Thalia, offering a dying bird. He then carries her away, stating, "A dying bird and carried me away." Later, a solemn Thalia, adorned with flowers, gazes with wide, tear-filled eyes, her fragile heart heavy. Sunlight streams through the trees as young Princess Thalia stands in the garden. She looks back, her brow furrowed, and asks, "Should I go back?" Her hesitant question hangs in the air, hinting at a decision she must make. In the sun-dappled gardens, young Thalia gazes up, her eyes wide with a mix of surprise and dawning realization. A mysterious figure, cloaked and with an intense gaze, observes her. Suddenly, a distressed nanny finds Thalia, scolding her for being out in the rain, exclaiming, "Do you have any idea how long Senevere has been looking for you?" In the palace gardens, young Thalia, dressed in a pretty pink gown, suddenly exclaims, "It's him." She spots a familiar hooded figure, the one who showed her kindness. He looks her way, and a silent recognition passes between them, hinting at the significance of their past encounter. In the palace gardens, a cloaked figure stands pensively. Young Thalia, in a pink dress, spots him and exclaims, "It's him." A fleeting moment of recognition passes between them, hinting at their past connection. Suddenly, a shoe clicks on the floor, and Thalia, now alone, walks away, lost in thought. In the garden, young Thalia calls out, "Excuse me," as a figure walks away. She then wonders, where is he going in such a hurry? Suddenly, she's flustered and stumbles, exclaiming, "Ah," as she falls. Her wide blue eyes show surprise and a blush after the fall. In the sunlit gardens, young Thalia, lost in thought, suddenly exclaims, "It's him," spotting a familiar hooded figure. He looks her way, and a silent recognition passes between them. Then, with a startled "ah," she stumbles and falls, her eyes wide with surprise and a blush after the tumble. In the sun-dappled garden, young Thalia sits by a tree, lost in thought. As she looks up, a familiar hooded figure appears, and a silent recognition passes between them. Then, with a startled "ah," she stumbles and falls, her eyes wide with surprise and a blush after the tumble. In the sun-drenched palace gardens, young Thalia sits pensively by a tree. Later, she's at a table with a man, a moment of quiet contemplation. The scene then shifts to Thalia, now wearing a delicate floral wreath, gazing directly at us with wide, innocent blue eyes, hinting at a profound inner journey. Princess Thalia, looking quite cheerful, waves hello from her grand setting. Meanwhile, a young man with striking blue eyes and a hooded cloak observes her, his expression unreadable. He then turns, revealing a subtle, almost knowing smile, as if he recognizes something significant. In the serene gardens, Princess Thalia utters a firm "no." Later, she spots the familiar hooded figure, exclaiming, "It's him." A silent recognition passes between them before she stumbles and falls, blushing. He then offers her the dying bird, saying, "It'll live." In these scenes, we see a young man with striking blue eyes, cloaked and pensive. He's revealed to be Vargas. Later, in the gardens, a young Thalia spots him, exclaiming, "It's him." A silent recognition passes between them before she stumbles and falls, blushing. He then offers her the dying bird, saying, "It'll live." In the palace gardens, a solemn young Thalia, her face shadowed, whispers, "It's okay." She then spots a familiar hooded figure, exclaiming, "It's him." A silent recognition passes before she stumbles and falls, blushing. Later, a regal woman is seen looking troubled, asking Thalia if she wants a certain boy, while Vargas, the commander of the Imperial Guard, contemplates. Young Thalia wonders, does he not recognize me, recalling a messy past? Suddenly, a tumultuous memory floods back, filled with urgent cries. "Not here. Anywhere but here. Barkis." Her intense plea echoes as she's seen kneeling, desperate, beside a cloaked figure, hinting at a critical moment. In a garden, a distressed woman pleads, "Please, Barkis," as she's forcefully removed. Young Thalia, witnessing this, is ordered to be kept away. Later, Thalia's nanny confronts her, demanding she's never to see Barkis again. Meanwhile, Thalia looks on, her expression a mix of shock and dawning realization. In a moment of distress, Princess Thalia is held by a concerned Vargas. Then, a stern-faced Vargas shouts, "Get out of here this instant," at a frightened young Thalia. She flees in panic through a sunlit garden, clearly terrified by his outburst. This abrupt encounter leaves her deeply shaken. Princess Thalia runs, her dress billowing as she flees. A voice asks, "What's wrong?" followed by a bewildered "Why?" She reaches out, her hand a blur of motion, as if trying to grasp something just out of reach, her determination palpable. The palace grounds are suddenly filled with chaos as Thalia falls, a surprised "Ugh" escaping her lips. A young man, furious, shouts, "How dare you?" over her. His shocked expression suggests something unexpected has happened to Thalia, leaving him stunned by her sudden collapse. In a sudden, violent memory, a young child is urged to die as figures rush to their aid, calling out, "Your Highness." Then, a little girl in a pink dress is left alone on the ground, a chilling declaration echoing, "Disappear from this world, you filthy, illegitimate child." The scene ends in darkness. A tearful young Thalia is told, "You're already 9 years old, and you can't keep whining to me just because you can't manage your own things." Another woman, identified as the Emperor's daughter, also appears. The scene shifts to a striking close-up of an intense blue eye. Princess Thalia's eyes widen as a voice questions her tolerance for insignificant people. Another voice, with palpable disdain, calls her daughter naive and weak. Then, a jarring shift reveals a young Thalia calling out a mother to Senevere, hinting at a deep, unresolved past. Princess Thalia, adorned in a regal veil, contemplates her next move with a determined glint in her eye. She declares, "Let's try this." We then see her in a bedroom, speaking to a young girl, revealing, "He's a man I've spent a long time thoroughly breaking into." She adds, "He'll be quite useful if you handle him correctly." What manipulation is Thalia planning? Back in her chambers, Thalia rejects a proposal, exclaiming, "I don't need someone like that." A young Thalia, overcome with emotion, cries out to her mother, "I just want to be with you, mother." The scene then shifts to a striking close-up of a woman in regal attire, her expression distant and sorrowful. A young Thalia, with wide, tear-filled eyes, looks up at a regal woman. The woman, seemingly Senevere, offers a comforting embrace, asking, "Why is my bathwater always warm and fragrant?" This leads into Thalia's internal questions about the excessive care she receives and why it's done to her, hinting at a deeper unease. Princess Thalia, adorned in elaborate jewels, reflects on how people fear her, not daring to think ill of her. She muses on those who feel only hatred and contempt, but even they are too busy guarding themselves to target her. A young Thalia's wide blue eyes are then shown, hinting at her past vulnerabilities. A somber message, "Remember this," appears against a dark backdrop. Princess Thalia, now a young child, sits in a grand room, her innocent blue eyes wide. A regal woman, adorned in opulent robes, gazes out, her troubled expression hinting at the harsh realities for the weak. The child, Thalia, is told, "But the weak and beautiful? They are nothing but prey, especially here, in the imperial palace." In a dimly lit room, a voice warns, "If you don't want to be trampled, then at the very least, you must never let them see your weakness." This chilling advice echoes as a young Thalia sits alone in a grand bed, reflecting on the harsh lessons of survival. Late at night, Princess Thalia lies awake, gazing out a window at the moonlit sky. Curled under her blankets, she whispers, "No one will protect me." A chilling thought follows. They get trampled, as abstract, dark imagery flashes, hinting at her grim resolve. Tucked away in the dark, Princess Thalia shivers, whispering, "No one will protect me." The stark word, trampled, flashes, a grim foreshadowing of her fate. As the scene transitions, a soft voice reminds her, "You are the Emperor's daughter." This stark reminder offers a sliver of hope amidst the encroaching darkness. Princess Thalia, adorned in regal attire, gazes thoughtfully, her eyes reflecting deep emotion. A voice questions why she lets insignificant people walk over her. Later, a tearful Thalia whispers, "Mother was right," as dark imagery surrounds her, hinting at a profound, unsettling realization. Thalia lies asleep, her small frame curled on the bed. She reflects, "I was weak because I acted like a criminal." Abstract shapes flicker, then we see her in a drawing, her gaze described as "my timid gaze." These scenes reveal Thalia's deep-seated guilt and self-perception. In the dim, Oppressive confines of what seems like service quarters, two figures with weary eyes and hooded heads look on with grim resignation. Thalia, tucked away and blushing, reflects on her past, whispering, "I acted as if I deserved to be mistreated." A single feather drifts in the darkness, a stark contrast to her newfound resolve. In the darkness, a single light appears, then a hooded figure with an intense gaze. Abstract lines distort the image, hinting at emotional turmoil. Later, sunlight illuminates Talia's chambers. She's in bed, and a maid begins scrubbing her leg, the sound bok bok filling the quiet. Talia's eyes well up as her hair is brushed. In Princess Talia's grand chambers, she firmly rejects her nanny's assistance, declaring, "I don't need your help." The nanny, taken aback, attempts to remind Thalia of imperial protocol, but Thalia dismisses her with increasingly frantic calls of nanny. The scene then shifts to the opulent bedroom, with two maids awaiting Thalia's command. Thalia declares, "From now on, nanny will be in charge of my care." Her mother, the Empress, has given permission for the current caregiver to leave. When questioned about defying orders, Thalia's nanny asks, "What's with her?" indicating Thalia's unusual resolve. Back in her chambers, Princess Thalia firmly rejects her nanny's help, declaring, "I don't need your help." The nanny, stunned, is then informed that she's now in charge of Thalia's care. The nanny, clearly taken aback, replies, "Understood, young lady." In her chambers, a young Princess Thalia sternly corrects her nanny, demanding, "How many times must I tell you to call me your highness?" She threatens, "If you call me young lady again, I'll slap you." The nanny looks visibly frightened. Later, Thalia, now dressed and composed, is escorted out of the palace by a serious-looking man. In the grand palace, a young Princess Thalia, dressed in a beautiful gown, walks alongside a man. Her wide, innocent blue eyes seem to hold a question, as if she's asking, "Is this the place?" He looks down at her, his expression unreadable, as they enter the ornate halls. In a grand dining hall, young Thalia sits alone at a long table, attended by maids. Outside, servants discuss bringing food, with one calling out, "Bring the food." A maid then approaches Thalia, placing a tray before her. Thalia stares blankly ahead as the maid stands silently, awaiting instructions. In a grand dining hall, young Thalia stares blankly at a bowl of soup with a bird in it. The scene shifts to a dark, unsettling vision of her surrounded by stern figures. Then, a maid calls out, "You, come here," and sit down, as Thalia is seated at the long table, a solitary figure. Princess Thalia sits at a grand table, seemingly lost in thought. Her nanny approaches with two servants, her expression one of concern. Thalia brushes off their presence, stating, "But I have a lot of work to do." This dismissive attitude hints at her growing independence and perhaps a hidden agenda. Suddenly, a struggle erupts as Princess Thalia's hand grips a swirling, pink substance. Then, a young Thalia, in her shock, knocks over her maid, causing a loud crash. The maid, startled, cries out, as Thalia glares, demanding, "How dare you ignore my order and turn your back on me?" Later, Thalia stands alone in a vast dining hall, facing a long, empty table. At a grand gathering, servants react with shock and apprehension. A young woman, Princess Thalia, stands before a stern man who orders, "Make this woman sit next to me immediately." Later, a close-up reveals a woman's intense, blood-stained gaze. Then, Thalia, clearly flustered, tries to stop someone, exclaiming, "Wait." In her chambers, Princess Thalia is presented with a meal. A stern man holds a frightened maid, while Thalia, with a trembling hand, lifts a small utensil. "You know," she begins, her gaze fixed on the food, then declares, "I've decided to share my meal with you today." Her resolve is chilling. The nanny, injured and bleeding, stammers, "Why, Your Highness, I." Princess Thalia, with a chilling smile, simply commands, "Eat." Several servants look on in shock and fear as Thalia's stern gaze surveys them. This dinner is clearly not going to be peaceful. Princess Thalia, her face contorted with rage, screams, "Eat it." Now, the nanny, now injured and bleeding, pleads, "It will never happen again. I promise. Please, just once, forgive me." A man then violently shoves the nanny, and Talia's hand is seen reaching out, her resolve chillingly clear. In a dimly lit room, Princess Thalia forces a maid to drink a full cup, threatening, "If you don't finish every drop, you won't be walking out on your own 2 feet." The terrified maid pleads, "Please, please, have mercy." Thalia coldly retorts, "I am showing you mercy right now. I could have you killed. Instead, I'm giving you a chance to live." Princess Thalia's nanny is visibly injured, her face bloodied, as she pleads for forgiveness. Thalia, with a chilling smile, simply commands, "Eat." The terrified servants watch as Thalia forces the nanny to drink a full cup, threatening her life. This brutal scene underscores Thalia's chilling resolve and escalating cruelty. In a grand hall, a young Thalia is instructed to place her hand on a table. She holds a small utensil, her expression thoughtful. Then, as she's told, "Since you're so intent on ignoring my kindness." A sudden, violent force strikes, shattering the peaceful atmosphere and leaving us wondering about this abrupt turn of events. In this chilling scene, Princess Thalia forces her nanny to eat, declaring, "I'll eat it. I'll eat every last drop." The nanny struggles, gagging, while Thalia watches with cold determination. Later, young Thalia sits alone, her eyes wide and a flicker of defiance in them, as servants look on with unease. In the opulent palace, Princess Thalia's gaze is intense as servants stand by, their expressions unreadable. Suddenly, a sharp gasp rings out as Thalia's maid collapses. With a chilling command, "Clean this up," Thalia turns away, her cold demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos she's created. The scene shifts to a grand dining hall, where Thalia, now seated, surveys the empty table with an unnerving calm, hinting at her disturbing new methods. The bullying stopped, but everyone treated Thalia with extreme caution. A hand roughly grabs a young Thalia's hair, while others whisper, "How could she torture an innocent maid like that?" They call her truly vicious, leaving Thalia isolated. A dramatic warning declares, "The spawn of a viper has crawled into the imperial palace." Then, a warm greeting, "Hello, Thalia," and a compliment, "You look especially lovely today," comes from a radiant woman, her outstretched arms inviting Thalia into a seemingly pleasant scene. In the opulent palace halls, a young Princess Thalia stands at the top of a grand staircase, looking back with a hint of sadness. As she descends, a woman in a green gown greets her, her expression concerned. The woman says, "You must be upset that it's been so long since my last visit." And Thalia's eyes well up with tears, hinting at a deep emotional connection. The Empress apologizes to young Thalia for the delay, presenting a special gift. She then praises Thalia's effective handling of insolent servants, a chilling testament to her growing ruthlessness. The Empress beams, radiating a powerful, almost triumphant aura, before embracing Thalia, her actions clearly influencing the young princess. In a grand hall, a regal woman in a green gown greets young Thalia, presenting a gift and complimenting her handling of difficult servants. She then introduces a handsome knight, declaring, "He's the handsome knight who will protect you from now on." This introduction marks a new chapter in Thalia's life. At the grand banquet, the imposing commander-in-chief of the Imperial Guard, Vargas Redgosikan, makes his entrance. He descends the staircase, his presence commanding attention as he joins Crown Prince Gareth. Vargas then introduces himself, revealing his name and imposing title to those present. In the Grand Palace, young Thalia spots a familiar hooded figure, exclaiming, "It's him." A silent recognition passes between them. Later, she ponders, say, as a pensive Vargas, the commander of the Imperial Guard, is revealed with striking blue eyes. What connection do they share? We see a flashback of young Thalia, her big blue eyes reflecting innocence. Then, a garden tea party with a young girl and a cloaked man. Vargas, his face revealed in profile, looks contemplative. Finally, a stark close-up of a piercing blue eye and the soft sound of footsteps. A warm embrace from two figures, a mother and father, surrounds young Thalia. Then, a stark close-up on Thalia's wide, troubled blue eyes. The scene shifts to Vargas, the cloaked figure, holding a young Thalia, their past encounter revealed. A furious Vargas unleashes his rage, shouting, "Get out of here this instant." A distressed young boy is then confronted with the harsh insult, "You filthy bastard." The intense confrontation abruptly dissolves into abstract darkness, leaving a chilling void. Amidst abstract turmoil, young Princess Thalia angrily demands, "Don't you know how to show respect to a princess?" The scene then shifts to a solemn young man, resembling Vargas, with white hair and blue eyes, who declares, "You're not my hope." This intense exchange hints at a deep conflict and shattered expectations. A quiet moment passes as Vargas looks on, lost in thought. We then witness a memory in a grand hall. A young boy kneels before a regal woman in green, with another young girl near. This impactful scene is reflected in the wide, purple-hued eyes of young Princess Thalia, her gaze holding profound significance. A white-haired figure, perhaps Vargas, kneels with a resolute gaze, declaring to a blonde, crowned woman, "You're going to be my pain." He continues, prophesying, and a truly agonizing pain at that. This intense exchange hints at a destined and difficult future between them.